Alright, this is our 2021 Honda Ridgeline. It's the RTL-E trim level. Has 38,500 miles on it, and I'm due for an oil change and tire rotations. Check out the video description and you will find a bunch of helpful links to parts and tools that I use that you can buy on Amazon. I'll put helpful information like torque specs and socket sizes and filter sizes and all that kind of information in the video description. The first thing we're going to do before we jack the car up is we're going to loosen all the lug nuts while they're on the ground. So just break them free 1 or 2 turns. So if you have locking lug nuts, you're going to want to get your locking key. And so I'm just going to go around and loosen the lug nuts. So on the tires, takes a 21 millimeter socket on this. The reason we're breaking them free before we jack it up is the weight of the car holds the wheel still if it's on the ground, but if we jacked it up first, the tire would want to rotate as we're trying to loosen the lug nut. So always good to remember to loosen them first. Alright, let me show you where the front jack point is. So coming in from the front, right in the middle of the vehicle. It's gonna be right here. This bracket right here. So I'm gonna put my jack saddle right on this. This will be in the middle of my jack saddle. So this is the jack saddle right here. So that'll be right in the middle. That's our front jack point. Very easy to get to. I believe on this one with this jack, I think I want 4 teeth showing on the front and 5 teeth on the back. I'm going to verify that to see if that's right on this. So okay, so right at this point on the vehicle, here's my door line right here. So it's about right here. If you look under here, yeah, see this right here. This is where I want the jack stand, right there. So there's one just like it on the other side, And there'll be one just like it on the back that I'll show you when we get to there. So I just want to put my jack under there, and I want to center it right under that point. And I'm going to put it a little bit back from the middle. So instead of putting it in the middle, I'm going to put a little bit back that way, because when I lower the jack, it's going to settle back just a little bit. So this one's the same exact as that one. 4 teeth showing. One, two, three, four. This helps me get it to the right height. And this just comes from experience of doing it and then writing down where you want it. Okay, so now I'm going to let this down gently. Let it ease onto those jack stands. Okay. I'm going to let the jack down about 3 inches or so, because when I jack the back end up, the front's going to come down. So I have a gap right now in between the jack point and my jack. This one's where it needs to be. You can tell even after it comes down, my wheels are coming off the ground for a tire rotation. And even though I moved them back a little bit to account for the vehicle coming back, it's still on this end of it, but it's all the way on there, so it's safe like it is. So these I want to be at 5 teeth on the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so the back jack point is quite a ways under there, unlike the front one. Okay. So you're going to see it. It's sticking down there right in the middle. So we're going to make contact with it so you can see it. That's right in the middle. This is our rear jack point right there. You see it making contact? Okay. So that's also very easy to see. I've jacked it several times and the wheels are just now coming off the ground. Tires are just now coming off the ground. Okay, so here, again, this is the back door line right here. So you can kind of tell where I'm at. So there's the jack stand support right here. So I have my jack there. There's a gap right now, so I'm gonna let it down. once I get the other jack in place on the opposite side. So looking from the side, you can tell where your jack stands are located in relationship to the doors. Now I just gently let it down. Okay. Let it down. And then, now that it's down, I'm going to take my jack and I'm going to jack it back up to where it just barely makes contact, so that my weight of my vehicle is on the jack stands, but in the event that one of them would fail, the jack's already in place to support it. So that one's good. I'm going to come back and check my front ones again since I moved the vehicle around. Want to make sure they're still in the right place. That one is. This one is. But now that the jack stands are all there, I want to line this one up again and just make contact just barely with that front jack point again. And that way there's a safety. So this right here is one of the more time consuming parts of the job and the most important safety wise. So definitely want to get jacking up the vehicle right. All right, so we're going to start by taking off this wheel. So remember, these are already loosened, so I'm going to use a impact gun just to get them off the rest of the way. So then we just lift it off. And so one thing I do, I grab this little screwdriver. Whenever I rotate the tires, kind of look them over for these rocks and stuff, just make sure the tire's in good shape. So I get a little screwdriver, and any decent sized rocks I see that are stuck, I just kind of pick them out. You don't have to get every one, but I kind of look for the big ones. Check my tread depth, make sure they're in good shape. And then you also can kind of look for any kind of damage or bubbling or anything, just to make sure your tires are safe when you rotate them. All right, so this one is gonna go to the front on the other side. And then the other thing I do when I rotate them, I'll take some brake clean and just kind of spray to clean the brakes. And then this is the first time I bought this truck used. It's the first time that I've rotated the tires. So I'm gonna grab one other thing that I'm gonna show you that I do. And this probably only needs to be done one time. It lasts a long time. This is Again, I'll put links to everything in the description. This is 3M copper anti-seize brake lube. And what I do with this, again, this is probably going to last many years. But to keep the wheel from sticking to the hub, it's a good idea just to put some of this in between. You don't want it on your bolts. Kind of right here, you just paint it in there. Just kind of paint it on there. And just that little bit will help that over the life of the vehicle. I'm going to go ahead and move this tire over to the front on the other side. Alright, so we're going to put all these back on. So while they're in the air, we'll just snug up the lug nuts, but we will not torque them until we get the vehicle on the ground. I always recommend starting all the nuts by hand instead of trying to use the power tool. It's the only way to really tell if you're cross-threading or not. Just get a good 3 or 4 turns on there. So all we're doing with this is just snugging them up, not tightening them down. Okay. Our tires are on there snug. So now we're gonna take the truck off of jack stands. So we kind of do a reverse order of how we jacked it up. So I'm gonna start by lowering this because when I jack the back end up to get those floor jacks out, the front end's going to want to come down a little, and this is going to hold it up. So I'm going to let this down a few inches, and then I'm going to jack the back up and get rid of these floor jacks in the back. Okay, now I want to realign my floor jack in the front to be in the middle of that jack point. Okay, let this down gently. All right, so now that our truck is back on the ground, the torque for these lug nuts is 94 foot-pounds. So I have a 1/2 inch torque wrench set to 94. So again, first click, I stop. Okay, that's it. And the way that I do it, I start with the one with the key, and then I go clockwise every other one, and there's 5 of them. So I know when I'm done, because my next one going clockwise every other one would have been back to the key again. And you don't want to do it again, because then you'll over torque it. So okay, so that's done. So the only other thing we want to do with the tires is check the air pressure. It's 35 psi all the way around. So makes it nice, because if you had the right amount of air pressure in before the tire rotation, it's still going to be right, whereas some vehicles have a different pressure from the front and the back tires. So I like that it's 35 all the way around. All right, I have a review of this compressor on my channel. I actually own 3. Okay, it's set to 36 right now, so I'm going to put that down to 35. It will stop automatically when it gets there. Needs a little bit. Okay, so they're all at 35. So that makes the tire rotation done.